Hey everyone, it's Joy, and today I'll be talking about my Camp Seasonathon TBR. So I decided to join a readathon for the month of June. I haven't done a seasonathon like each season readathons in a while. I like doing readathons, but lately I've just been on a reading slump that I'm just hoping that it might help me with my reading a bit, even though I put myself in a reading slump on purpose. But yeah, I barely read a lot of books in May, so I thought this readathon might help me out. So yeah, I am really excited about it. I'll link the announcement via down below so you guys can check it out and the co-host, etc. And I'm just really excited for participating in this readathon. So let's get to the TBR. So the first prompt for Camp Seasonathon is I'm doing Melanie's Cabin, by the way, which is Castle Cabin, which I forgot to mention at the beginning of this video. The first prompt is to read a retelling, and the book that I picked for this is a sequel to a retelling of King Arthur, which is Sword and Stars by Amy Rose Capeta and Corey McCartney. This is a sequel to Once and Forever, or Once and Future, that's what it's called. I've read this like a few years ago now, and I've just been so behind on a lot of sequels lately, but this one is a duology, so thankfully this is gonna end on this one. If you haven't read the first book is a retelling of King Arthur, obviously, but Merlin has gone through different versions of Arthur's and all the other characters, and like all the other characters of King Arthur, and then they stumbled upon the one version of Arthur, and that's pretty much the whole synopsis of the first book from what I remembered. And I know I enjoyed it so much that I want to continue on with the final book in the duology, and I'm really excited about it. And it is a sci-fi retelling of King Arthur, which is the interesting part. And I remember liking the first book, even though I'm usually with a lot of sequels, I remember what happened in the first book, but sometimes I like read the first few chapters of the sequel, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what happened in the first book, because sometimes they refresh your memory on what happened sometimes. But yeah, I'm excited to finish off this duology. So yeah, like I said, I'm gathering this for a retelling of, for the retelling prompt. So the next reading prompt is to read a book with royalty, and the book that I picked for that is Two Dark Reigns by Kendare Blake, which you guys haven't read the first book, which is Three Dark Crowns, about three sisters who are princesses and they're rulers of their own island, and they, after they be coming of age, they fight for the crown, and that's basically the synopsis of it. And I know this book has royalty in it, so that's why I thought of it when I first got this on my TBR. I know that I've been putting a lot of sequels on my TBR, and there's some I'm still behind on, but I know this was on my May TBR, like Sword and Stars, but I never got to them, unfortunately, so I thought I would roll some of the books from my May TBR over to this month's TBR, just because I felt bad for not reading some of them from my last month's TBR, so that's why I'm not going to be drawing from my TBR bucket for this month anyway, until I catch up on the books that I said I was going to read, and haven't, even though I kind of switched, I rolled over some of the books from my May TBR into this one. But yeah, I'm excited to pick this up, and this was like one of the priority books that I have you guys voted like back in March, so I thought I would put this on my TBR, and I know I have others that people voted for, but this is definitely one of the ones that I want to put as top priority for this month's TBR. So the next prompt is to read a book with dragons. I have trouble picking this one, to be honest with you, because I don't have a lot of books that has dragons in it, and I know Fourth Wing has dragons in it, but the one that I definitely would probably want to pick up soon, because I'm a big Disney fan, and I know there's a dragon in here, which is Reflection by Elizabeth Lem. This is a retelling of Mulan, and of course this is part of the Disney Twisted Tale series, and this is What If Mulan Traveled to the Underworld, which I did not know there was underworld in Chinese mythology, so I'm really curious about that. And I know Mushu's a dragon, so that's the one I could think of that has a dragon in it, and he better be in it, or else I would be very upset. And I know I love Mushu from Mulan, so yeah, other than Mulan herself. But yeah, I've been wanting to read, I've been trying to catch up on these, same with my Disney Villains series that I have, that I own. So yeah, and I have a lot of Disney books on my TBR, but I'm just because I'm a big Disney fan, I've just been loving the Twisted Tales series. I know so far my favorite would have to be either Once Upon a Dream or Tales All This Time. Usually, like, I know it's that as old as time as Being a Beast, but somehow I feel like it, Once Upon a Dream and that is tied for me right now. So I've been wanting to see out of these which ones are my favorite, because I'm really liking this series so far. And I know I've also read A Whole New World, which is way up at the top of my fantasy shelves. But yeah, I've been liking this series. You don't have to read these in particular order, but for me personally, I just want to read them in publication order. So yeah, I'm excited to pick this up, and I just hope Mushu's in it, because he's one of my favorites Disney character. I love Mushu, and he's also one of the dragons I love. So the next stream prompt is to read a book that involves battle or war. This one is also tricky. I had to check with a lot of book synopsis that has a war or a battle in it, but according to the synopsis of this book that has been on my TBR for a very long time, and I've been wanting to read it ever since they said there's a battle involved, so I'm going to read this for that prompt, which is Peter and the Starcatchers by Dave Barry and Wrigley Pearson. And this is supposed to be like a Peter Pan retelling, but like as a prequel to the Peter Pan story, so like before Wendy came to Neverland. So as far as I know, I've been interested in reading this book since I was a kid, and I just haven't picked it up. So I thought, like, since it has battles involved in this book, I thought I would count this for this prompt. But like I said, it was very hard to pick which books have war and battles in the title that I want, or war and battles in it that I want to read. But I know that this book has been on my TBR for a very long time, and I wanted to read it so badly. So yeah, I picked this book for that particular reason for this prompt. And the next reading prompt, which was very easy, a book that has a castle in title or cover, and thankfully I do have a book that has a castle in the background, because again, I want to read this. It's one of the sequels I've been wanting to read, which is the School of Good and Evil, A World Without Princes by Saman Shidani. This is the second book in School of Good and Evil series, and I love this. I love the first book so much, I want to continue on with the series, and it's just, I've been pushing myself to read this just because I really enjoy the first book, and I love Agatha and Sophie, so I just love their friendship so much. And like I said, I've been very behind on sequels on my TBR. I have like over 30 sequels on my TBR right now that I'm just like trying to catch up on some of them. And if you couldn't see on the cover, there is a castle right in the background, so I'm counting it. So I'm just very excited to continue on with the series, and plus I've watched a movie adaptation of the first book, which I really enjoyed. I enjoyed more than I was expecting, and I'm just hope there's going to be a second movie out of this book, but I'm not quite sure. But I still think it was a decent adaptation, and yeah, again, I just really love Agatha and Sophie's friendship so much that I just want to continue on with the series. So yeah, I'm really excited to pick this up for the month of June, and yes, this is one of the books that I was rolling over from last month. So the last book that I'm gonna probably put on my TBR, but I'm not quite sure yet, it's the group book for Castle Cabin. And for this round of Camp Seasonathon, they having 3 different group books, and they're just gonna have book discussions instead of just having a discussion with the authors, which is very interesting. But I'm still gonna go on with it. If the hosts just want to do a book talk, that's also fine. That's their choice anyway. But the group book for Castle Cabin, which is Gilded by Marissa Meyer, and I know I really want to get to this book really badly because it's a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, which I really like, and I like a lot of Marissa Meyer's other books, like the Lunar Chronicles. That's my favorite series, and I love, and I really like Heartless, and I just started reading the Renegade series, which I'm really enjoying. But I know the Lunar Chronicles is still my favorite from Marissa Meyer, but I still want to read other books by her, and I know that Gilded is one of the newer books that was released, and like I said, it's a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, which got me all excited. I don't know if I'll like just rent it from my library and then purchase it later. I think that's part of my plan anyway, so hopefully I'll get to this book. If not, I'm not going to be upset about it, because sometimes with readathons like this, I don't get to the group book, even though I read the group book first sometimes, and it just puts me in a reading. So for some reason, not the host's fault, don't get me wrong, but I'm gonna try my best to get to this book. Hopefully I'll be in the mood to read it, or if it's available from my library, I'll try to get it. If not, I'm not going to make a big deal out of it for not reading the group book, but I will try to get this read during the month of June for sure. So that's all for Camp Seasonathon TBR. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and comment down below if you're participating in this readathon or what you're planning on reading in June, because I would like to know. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button and click the bell icon so you'll be notified when I post new videos. Also, you can follow me on social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads, which all links will be down below for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!